All right, we have some great debunks injunctions tonight. First up, America's deficit. It used to be the Republican Party's favorite criticism of President Obama. They used to march out and tell us how the deficit was skyrocketing or soaring or exploding. The deficit was killing jobs. That talking point is still a favorite among Republicans. This is from the Idaho Senate debate this week. Republican Senator James Risch of Idaho.
The biggest challenge facing Idaho families, and for that matter America, is something that really every American should be focused on, and that is the national debt and the deficit spending. When you talk about cutting back in Washington, D.C., they look at you like you got three heads. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep pushing it. This nonsense has got to stop.
This nonsense has got to stop. The deficit is the biggest challenge facing Idaho. It is out of control. Republican Senator James Risch of Idaho at his Senate debate this week to the same point, so you know it's not just him. Here's a fundraising email that went around this week from former Vice President Dick Cheney, my friend. He emails me all the time. He's always warning about something exploding. This time he's warning about the exploding government and exploding spending. An explosion of spending, a skyrocketing deficit. I know they love that line, and they always have, but is it true or is it false that the federal government deficit is spiraling out of control? The Obama deficit is a noose around the nation's economy. Still a great talking point, though. The Congressional Budget Office, the official arbiter of these things, released their report on the deficit today, showing that in 2014, the deficit decreased again, as it has been doing for years now, by a lot. This year's deficit is the smallest deficit we've had since 2008. And if you think those raw numbers are voodoo and you want to instead look at deficits relative to the size of the economy over the last 40 years, our deficit this year is actually below the average for the last 40 years. So, no. The deficit is not growing. The deficit is shrinking now very fast. And in historical terms, it's now very small. But don't let that get in the way of your bumper sticker.